everybody! This is the #1 potato boss, bringing you a MogPod set review for water. Today, with me, I have Jared.
Hello.
Kevin.
Hello.
And a very special guest. He owns the highest liked Facebook page on the Final Fantasy TCG, Pedro from Band's Final Fantasy Corner.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
How's it going?
We're very excited to have you here. And today we're going to talk about your favorite element. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Water set review.
Yeah.
Yes. But first, before we go into it, Jared, do you want to tell the audience our rating system?
Certainly. Now, if this is the first one of our set reviews that you're tuning into, we have a two-tiered card rating system, wherein we first give each card a strength value out of 5, and then we also apply a synergy score to it as well. So the strength value is how good is this card in a vacuum, whereas the synergy score is how good is this card in a deck built to really optimize for it.
And let's get into the first card. Kevin, do you want to start us off?
Okay, so this is a 2-drop backup from Type 0 called Doria, and she reads, when a party you control deals damage to your opponent, draw 1 card.
A party.
A party, yeah.
So it's like a backup mime.
Yeah.
And it deals damage. It's on damage.
Okay, right, yeah. So little worse.
Yeah, quite a bit worse, I think. I can see this in like Wind Water maybe, with like Black Chocobo specifically, because that one you get unblockable. But outside that, I can't really see this being useful.
If you're playing against an opponent and you see that in their backline, are you kind of always going to block, even if it's unfavorable?
Party attacks are like just generally vulnerable, especially with so much removal in the format already.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, there are the Opus 1 and Opus 2 knights, right? The ones that prevent damage. And that's this new Chocobo.
The selfish Chocobo.
Yeah. Well, if you have 2 of them,
yeah.
pretty safe party.
What do you reckon, Pedro?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. This could go in like one of those standard unit decks. The thing is, it might be difficult to fit this card in there.
That's true. That's very true.
You already have so many backups.
Yeah, exactly. And like Windwater has, you probably want to play Unarika Pain.
Maria
so your backup,
Arc.
Yeah,
Maria Arc and probably Braun as a searcher.
And
So your
5.
backups, your backup slots are pretty defined. I'm not really sure this can fit there. I mean, this can go into Mono Water as well, but maybe as a one-off.
perhaps a more mono water standard units kind of build might want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could just have this in one as a one-off anyway. Probably won't get much value out of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It could go into your Refia Vikings build.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah.
Okay.
I think we give this card just like a 2.
A 2?
2.
Sure. You agree with that, Pedro? 2 plus 0?
I would go either 1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next card, Jared, do you want to tell us about it?
Sure thing. It is a 5 cost forward, 8,000 power. It's from category 12. It's Vossler. He reads, if you control card name Ash, the cost for playing Vossler onto the field is reduced by 2. If Vossler receives damage, reduce that damage by 1,000 instead. If the card name Ash you control receives damage, reduce that damage by 2,000 instead.
So I feel like I want to talk about this card along with Wrestler, or do you want to leave Wrestler later on?
I think it's important to talk about Wrestler now to put it into context.
Yeah, put it into perspective. So
let's go to Wrestler.
Fine. Pedro, do you want to tell us what Wrestler does, if you don't mind?
Okay, so Wrestler, it's a water backup that costs 2 CP, and its effect is, basically it makes Ash, the forward Ash you control, unbreakable, other than damage effects. So she still gets broken if she receives damage exceeding her power, but she cannot be broken by cards like Odin or Dragon or Seymour.
That's correct, yeah.
It gives her the Opus 2 Vincent text, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And
exactly, yes.
I think that makes Ash almost unkillable because the Opus 2 Ash has
the Opus 2 Ash, yes.
Has
if
that
she would
3k
get
buff.
targeted.
Every time you target it.
And that and Then on top of that, if you've got Vossler in play, that's effectively a plus 5k buff when you're considering
when you're trying
damage.
to kill her. Yeah.
I mean, if you suplex a train, you'll still kill her.
yeah, she will die in combat. But
no, I'm talking about a Sabine's S for 8k to everyone.
Oh,
it doesn't target her.
Right.
But still, like, this just makes her so worse. Like, you know,
that she is going to stick with all even with all the removal in the format. She is almost never going to die.
Yep.
And I think that's really important. That water gets to stick her forward, and I think since Wrestler is so powerful that you're going to be playing Ash anyway, Vossler is going to end up being, you know, at least a one-of in a lot of water decks.
I can definitely see that,
because he is a powerful effect, and he's cheap, he's big, and you know he protects himself and Ash even more. So I think he's going to be pretty good. But
he himself, if he's on by himself on the field, still dies to El Cid though.
Yeah.
Which is pretty.
So 5 then.
You know, it's pretty
2.
vulnerable.
It doesn't. It's not if it's a Rigdir, but it would be if it's an Onion Knight.
Yeah, just an Onion Knight. But
that's
would
true.
it? Does it work with the Black Waltz? So 6. So
5.
take 5,
No,
go to
it
7.
won't
So
die.
only with Onion Knight
Yeah.
does Elset kill it.
Yeah, it's still something to consider.
But it's not as vulnerable as a lot of forwards are.
Especially since
Elset.
this is the second forward you're playing, you're not left with an empty board after that.
Yeah.
You still have the Ash that the Lightning player has no ways to deal with.
And probably like one of the most efficient things that the Lightning player could do beforehand was just play Seymour for that Ash, and now they can't do that.
Not allowed.
So now they have to play like Raiden or something to remove it.
She's too busy being protected by her dead husband.
What do you think about this, Pedro?
About the Vossler?
Oh,
Yeah.
like about the Vossler, you know, Ash and
The Vossler,
Wrestler.
Ash and Wrestler.
Yeah, you know. synergy thing.
Yes, I think that will definitely be a thing. Wrestler and Ash just by themselves will bring a lot. Will make water really, really powerful, even more. But yeah, Ash by herself being pretty much unbreakable is very interesting. And then Vossler is going to help her even more. So yeah, I'm sure that we'll see these 3 cards in a lot of decks.
I'm looking forward to making some sort of lightning water deck.
Yeah,
with a 12 sub theme.
Yeah.
Because even then, Grammars can search for
Ash.
Vossler or Ash.
Oh yeah.
If
yeah,
you've already
that's
got
true.
Ash on the field.
Or your Last. Or your,
exactly.
Like, you also get Lasses and 12, so...
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think there's something there.
Yeah, I think this is really strong.
But like still regarding that, I don't think Vossler is that good because the Ash Wrestler by itself is already good enough.
Yeah, Ash
right?
Wrestler definitely carries Vossler if he's going to see play.
Because Ash is so sticky, right? She's going to stay in play most of the time. You can expect to only have to pay 3 for Vossler, at which point he's a 3-cost 8k with armor, which is better than the only other 3-cost character we have with armor, right? Which is Archangel EV.
yeah.
That's a lot better. Yeah.
And he's kind of similar to the Light Warrior of Light stats, and you know
needs to be dealt 9k to die.
Yeah, so I
So
think.
do you think like 2+2?
I think 3+0.
Yeah,
I don't think he has any
3
synergy
for
points.
Vossler, and then I would give 4 for Wrestler. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait. So we give Wrestler 4? I thought it'd be a little bit.
I would give
Wrestler's a
Wrestler
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially since Ash is Ash has the 3k plus text already.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's not like you have to be playing it in your deck, which means then if you're speccing into the strategy, you have to have it.
You agree with that, Pedro?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a 2 is good, but he does have a lot of synergetic value, so I would give it +2 for that.
Oh no, we just Kevin was arguing just give it like a flat 3+0 for Vossler and a 4 for Wrestler.
Yeah, because because the synergy system is only a bit more of a deck building concern. So Vossler's a pretty good example because we're not rating him without Ash in the deck. So the normal rating is with Ash in the deck because the card specifically references that.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's probably a 3 in that deck, and then Wrestler.
Yeah, then there's 3. Yeah, 3.
Think about also the other backups you're playing include Walker. He becomes a 9k, which means you need 10k damage to kill him.
Yep, and that's like Bahamut only.
Yeah, and
No,
being
Oh yeah.
being a printed 5 cost, he doesn't die to Opus 1 Odin or the 4-drop Odin.
Yeah.
So
Oh, the 3-drop Odin.
Yeah. Right, let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next card is 4-drop water backup. Cirrus is her job. EX burst when area category 3 enters the field. You may search for 1 job warrior of light forward and add it to your hand. So
It's an EX burst as well.
yeah, it's an EX burst.
Aria.
So like it's a nice little cool thing. I mean, with the Refia, the light warrior of light is going to contend for the light spot in the mono water decks instead of Zidane.
I think definitely this is a card that this archetype needed because you only Refia and Warrior of Light don't have searches otherwise, so you definitely needed some consistency in that because generally, like Warrior of Light, you kind of want to get it down early.
You can have a pretty decent density of Warriors of Light now as well, especially if you're Water Earth.
Yeah.
Because you've got Wall and you've got
Yeah.
Ingus as well.
So yeah, you can definitely toolbox that in 2 different elements, but this is just a searcher, so
Yeah.
generic rating and move
Or
on.
sort of pseudo searcher,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd give it the searcher rating.
Yeah, you have anything to say on top of that, Pedro?
No, not really. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Straightforward card.
regular.
Wait, is a hero?
Yep.
Is it a heroic or a rare?
It is a hero.
Yet another thing. All right, Yoshitaka Amano art does not appear on anything lower than heroic.
This is our theory.
This is
No, it's
still constant.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
It's facts.
Yeah, that's true. That's been confirmed. That his artwork is very expensive, so it can be used on like lower rarity cards.
Oh, really? Is that why?
Yes.
That's
yes.
really-
I
Wait,
didn't, like-
where did you hear that from?
I heard from the Hobby Japan stuff.
Okay.
That's cool.
Interesting.
We
yeah.
finally have confirmation.
Because we've been observing this as sets come out.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Next card. Kevin, do you want to tell us about it?
Yes, this is the new Category 9 card. It's a 5-cost monster called Ozma. It's Job Ozma, and it has 0. Until the end of turn, Ozma also becomes a forward with 8,000 power, and Ozma doesn't receive damage from dark cards. You may only use this ability once per turn, so you can essentially animate him for free. And he has an S called Flare Star, which is S, 2 water, and 2 of anything, dull it, and it makes all the forwards opponent controls lose 2,000 power for each CP required to play them until the end of the turn. And you can only play it when Ozma is a forward.
This is a cool card with weird art.
The theater rhythm might not go too well with the Ozma thing.
Well, I don't remember fighting this thing in 9, but
It was the optional boss.
Oh, it was?
Oh, Jared,
Yeah.
not going for full completion, I see.
But yeah, what
well,
do we think of this? It's a bit strange.
Like it's like we didn't already have enough Sephiroth hate. Now we have
Well,
more
yeah.
Sephiroth hate.
No.
Also, well, I mean, we've got some very powerful new dark cards.
We
in
did,
this set.
but one of them can just change elements
Yeah,
whenever
one
they
of them.
want to.
Yeah, it's
One
true.
of them's a water card a lot of the time.
But yeah, it's okay.
I think it's good just because not even considering the S, just because a monster is again hard to kill, and water needs more things that are hard to kill, especially with so much removal in the format. And since it's 0, you don't have to keep any CP up. You can have perfectly efficient turns.
This is basically a forward whenever you need it to be.
Yeah. Although the 5 cost initially hurts quite a bit.
It does, yeah.
But it's part of your 9
Yeah.
efficiency
Yeah,
engine.
like
I
Steiner
can
can
activate him with Zidane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. That's unnecessary.
The S is still very relevant because of Steiner.
Yeah, because you can just search more Ozmas with Steiner, but it's definitely balanced because you can't just haste it straight away because you need to turn it into a forward, and then it loses the monster haste because it's a forward now.
So can it only use its S if it's a forward?
Yeah.
right?
Because it needs to
okay.
tell.
So you can respond to it becoming a forward and just kill it.
Unlike Death Gaze, which
Yeah.
can just do it regardless. That's kind of nifty. And that S does kill most things, right? There aren't a lot of things.
Most big things like 4 CP and up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It usually will get rid of them.
Pedro, this card was in chapters, right? Could you tell us how it did that?
Very well, actually. So, like you guys mentioned, this kind of sticks on the board. so you don't really need to search for another one to use a special ability. The card will just kind of sort of stay there until you draw another one, at which point you can use a special ability. But I mean, we all know that water has Cagnazzo, and sometimes you need to bounce Cagnazzo. It's not really enough Cagnazzo by itself, but this and Cagnazzo just finishes off completely.
That's a good point. Yeah,
it's off at work. Yeah. I mean, we've known this card for a while now. It's been discussed a lot. It's very good, especially if you can play it for 4 CP with
Mira.
With Mira, yeah, exactly. I think this card should also go in most water decks for sure.
Okay.
Does that mean there'll be more monster hate now?
yeah. That's definitely.
I think we're definitely moving into an era wherein there are more relevant monsters.
That's correct. Yeah.
So
what would you rate this card? Pedro, you have any idea?
I would go with a 4. I mean, it's not really a must play.
Yeah.
But it's
strong consideration.
It's definitely a card that I would want to play.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a 4+0 is fair enough.
Yeah, it doesn't really have too much synergy.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't
really. There's nothing that immediately comes to mind, right? Other than maybe Cagnazzo for its S.
Or
Yeah. And then there's I think Eldenarch is probably going to be very popular.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot of people are going to try and make that work. So you can just block Eldenarch with Ozma every turn.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. That's really cool.
Are you going to attack with Eldenarch? Okay, I'm going to activate Ozma and block.
Yeah.
Obviously, they won't attack.
Yeah.
But it's a huge roadblock. It's a huge roadblock.
It is. It's definitely very hard for those decks to get past.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means your Eldenarch Paradise deck needs to make sure it has some monster removal.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Next card, Jared.
So here we have a 2-cost backup, which is Ondor. It was the Marquis. And he... No, and this is actually Marquis.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
See, I know my 12.
All right.
Now, and he has Dull. Choose a category 12 forward you control. It gains plus 1,000 power until the end of turn. So it's a twist on the usual buffer slot, right?
Yeah. The other one that's very similar was the Fire Lebro.
Which is the unfortunate cost of being called Lebro.
Yeah.
This doesn't share a name with anything else, so it's slightly more playable.
Yeah.
But it's probably I can only see me playing this in one deck, and that deck is probably not even close to competitive. And it's a Sky Pirates deck because there's no Sky Pirates extra synergy.
I'm a little disappointed in Ondor because he's a cool character in 12.
Really?
He's from Bjergba, which is a cool thing to say. Bjergba. Isn't it fun? Let's all say Bjergba.
Bjergba. It sounds like a 14 name. It's so cool.
It does.
Yeah, Ondor though, you definitely need a high density of 12.
See, that's what I'm saying in the Sky Pirates deck. I'm running Penello, and I'm running this. Right, and so the Sky Pirates would just be huge.
Right,
and I'll run the rare Balthier, not the legendary Balthier, which will search the friend, which can make that Balthier 10k just randomly.
You could run both.
Oh man.
What?
You could run both.
I could, but probably not very good.
Well, I think we've already made that concession.
But it'll be a cute little thing to do with that.
Okay.
Deck. That's all.
No, I don't think this card is terrible, but it's not particularly impactful either.
At the end of the day, it's not like he doesn't cost 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It does when you use them.
Yeah.
If you're playing this, you're playing 12 cards.
Yeah.
Some 12 cards want to be just a little bit bigger, so maybe he's out.
What do you reckon, Pedro?
This card actually confuses me a little bit. Like, you mentioned Lebro.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth mentioning, like, Lebro, I mean, apart from having the problem that it's called Lebro, it's actually, it's a starter card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And starter cards usually have a higher rarity value. And this guy is a common. And, so they're kind of do similar things. But this one's a common and the other one's a starter card. And on top of that, the other one already has a name with it, the same name card.
It's a bit sad.
Yeah, it's kind of confuses me. But I mean, honestly, I think the card is rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I
we
think
all agree on
we're
that.
all in agreement that he's not good, but,
But
I mean,
I'm still gonna play him in the deck though.
the most generous thing we can think about is like, what 12 characters need random 1k buffs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's
Almost
cute on
none of
Elsa.
it.
Yeah.
Cute on Alcid. Oh, no.
Well, I'm thinking more like the wind ones. The sky pirates are the ones that
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
to attack to really get full value out of them.
Yeah. Nah,
So-
you know, like even like buffs Red Ass because Red Ass has to attack every turn,
Oh my.
right?
He buffs himself.
Well, I mean, you can always buff your light Van.
Oh
That's
yeah,
true.
that's actually probably the best use for him, maybe.
That's right,
But,
yeah.
Probably, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
You put this in title series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it fits into the 12 titles deck because
Yeah,
at-
exactly.
at the end of the day,
Title
it's a 2-cost backup in that deck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
that's,
a card for
that's
title
where
series.
that's where it'll shine.
So
Right.
it's I still think it's a 1 though, right? Or just a 2 because it's 2 costs.
it doesn't do absolutely nothing if it's in
Yeah,
a deck.
it's not useless.
Like,
Fine.
like just
Yeah.
like a monk in the backup line of an Earth player has to be respected. This guy, your opponent has to acknowledge that it's there. So it's not going to do nothing. It'll just be worse than most other cards you could put there. So I think it makes it a 2.
You agree with that, Pedro?
Yeah, 1 or 2. I'm good with either.
Like it's at the very low end of 2, I think.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
if it's
so
more of a
one-
spectrum, but like
1.5.
yeah.
Okay, next card, Pedro. Do you want to tell us about it?
All right, the next card, Water Legendary, Cloud of Darkness. It's a forward from artwork from Mobius, character also from Final Fantasy III. Job is a wraith, and she's got 8,000 power, and she reads, when Cloud of Darkness enters the field, choose one forward the opponent controls. It loses 2,000 power for each forward you control until the end of the turn. When Cloud of Darkness attacks, choose one forward the opponent controls. It loses 1,000 power for each forward you control until the end of the turn. Okay, so it's got 2 abilities. One enter the field ability and one auto ability. To be honest, my first thoughts when I saw this card was like, okay, the first ability is a worse Cagnazo, and the second ability is a worse Beatrix. So I wasn't very impressed with the card when I first saw it. But to be honest, I mean, it is playable, and it does give that it does give water removal if you have enough forwards on the board, of course. It's a little bit too situational for my taste, but I guess this could be an interesting card.
I think to build on what you said about the Cagnazo and Beatrix connection, it is those effects on one card, and it is another one of these effects for water. So, like, it's water as
On
an
a
element
different
is starting to build a density of these force
mass.
reduction. I don't think
Right.
it's a critical mass yet.
Well, it's
but like
approaching it.
maybe next set or the set after, if we get 1 or 2 more force reduction cards in water, I think that's a fairly valid removal archetype you can build in.
What I like about this card is that water in this set has a lot of resilient cards, and in previous sets they have a lot of cheap cards that just spam the board, like Famous McGurgle, Lina, Zidane, Knight.
All the Vikings.
Yeah, all the Vikings. So this just rewards you by having a removal on entry. It's kind of like Adia, but for water. Except it is obviously it does nothing when you're behind. But I think as water, especially now, you can kind of reliably get to 3 forwards and then play this, which means you'll
8K.
do 8K. Which is
entry.
a bit relevant, and especially I like this because it makes Zidane relevant as a forward, because Zidane didn't contribute to Cagnazo. That always made me sad.
Oh, this doesn't
right.
care about
Yeah,
water forwards.
this is just
okay.
forwards.
Yeah,
Which-
you can play it in.
It's more splashable.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
It-
In any water anything deck that does want to spam the board, this is a pretty decent inclusion, I think.
It's funny how you guys compared it to Cagnazo, Beatrix, and even Idia. I think the second line of text, when I first read it,
Size.
it went straight to size, I guess so. But I'm talking about specifically in water. It's like the kind of opposite of the starter Walker, because like Waka buffs himself, buffs for one of your forwards by number forwards you control, and this one reduces one of their forwards. So I was like, her auto ability is like a worse Waka because you can only choose one forward. I don't know.
But at the same time, it can engineer the depths of things. So
I was like, this deck has a lot of similarities and a lot of.
I am loving the art for this card. That is sweet. It'll look very nice in foil.
That looks so much better than the Dissidia one.
I don't know. I don't mind the Dissidia one.
It's okay. So what would we give this card?
I think this can be a 3+1.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Because when you have it in one of these spamming decks, it's going to excel. And there are a lot of decks that might just want to give it a try, even if they're not.
Even in just a general strategy, if you're winning and you do draw this card, it will keep you winning. So it's
or
not
just sort of seal the deal. Right.
Win more card. Yeah.
I don't know that I'd say it's a win more, but it's because it's a payoff, right? It's a payoff card.
So Pedro, you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah.
Cool. So 3+1.
Yeah. Next card
What do we have?
is the 4-drop forward knight. It's called Korilla. 7,000 power. When Korilla enters the field or attacks, choose one water forward you control against 2,000 power until the end of the turn. And Savage Blade is her S ability, S Water Dull. Choose one forward, deal it 7,000 damage. It doesn't reduce its power.
No.
It deals it. If you control a card named Trion, deal it 9,000 damage instead. So
some more knight support.
Although,
It's
immediately when I saw this card, you think of the starter Waka because although it does do something when it enters the field, plus 2,000 power. Generally, every turn after that, I think it's just going to be strictly worse. Even if it does have the knight tag, it's not going to get too much above Waka.
Just means it gets a buff from Ovelia and can be found with
Duke
Cortana. Those are the two primary things, right?
I was actually thinking of the rare Tidus that buffs all your water forwards by 1.
But this is a single target and it's only 2,000.
Yeah. I don't know. It's okay. And this is the Trion like synergy with her S. Is that worth
Trion
it?
Gives a buff to all other knights.
To all other knights. I know it's a 4-drop 8k in Lightning.
Yeah.
That just does that. So that's okay, I guess. If
I mean, look, people like making. I mean, I know I like making sort of tribal knights decks. They're just fun to put together, and this is like explicit synergy for knights. This plus Trion. So I mean, I think it's a 3. I wouldn't give it much more than that.
What do you reckon, Pedro? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that actually the special ability is one of the best things about the card because water doesn't really have ways to deal damage.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, and this guy can deal damage, so that's pretty nice. However, you're probably not gonna pull that off too often, to be honest.
I mean, if you're running Lightning,
it's just,
or if you're running Earth, because Star Sybil can search for it.
It's also a knight, so you can
but
Cortana.
if you're running Lightning, then you probably have other ways, better ways to deal damage.
Way better ways to deal damage than this guy.
You can play Moab to find him if you really want to.
Yeah, that's right. But I don't know, it tries to do a little bit of everything. Not like very well. But yeah, like you guys mentioned, in the Knight dedicated deck, this card can be pretty good.
But even in that Knight deck, it's probably just a 3.
I think he's not the most stellar part of that deck, but he's one of the cards that's filling out your 50.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I think he's just a solid 3. Okay, shall we move on?
Yeah. Yes.
Kevin, you want to go next card?
Okay, so this card is a 2-cost backup from Final Fantasy XI called Clady, and it's Job Princess, another one to add to the Waters collection of princesses. And she reads, Dull, choose one Job Prince forward or Job Knight forward and activate it.
Do we have a Prince forward?
We have Gordon, and that's the only one.
Okay. Actually, Gordon's a relevant one to activate.
Yeah, because he can reduce the damage it takes to 0.
That's kind of nifty. Yeah.
This card has a lot of combo potential, it seems.
Yeah.
Backups that activate forwards for free tend to sort of threaten to do things.
It's just one of those things where, like, I'm reading it as, like, give a forward brave, essentially, as well. Like, you just attack and then just activate it, like, whenever you want, you know?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
I'm waiting, Murad.
What?
I'm waiting for you to say what you always say when something cares about a job.
Oh, right. It's hashmallable.
No.
Actually, no, I would never. I probably would never hashmall this. I even am like the biggest advocate of hashmall. Like, yeah, no.
All right. So, like, what are some highlightable things? I mean, we just talked about Korilla. It can activate them before if you wanted to ES them.
I mean, if you're playing the Ramza from Opus 4, it's like, it's pretty cute to kind of activate him and, give something else haste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can give two things. This is pretty much a red mage if you have that on board.
Yeah.
And if you have no, you can activate Clady to activate Ramza to give something else haste.
Wow.
Make your own Godot.
Make your own Godot. It's like, here's water, make your own Godot.
And
the Garland from Opus 3, if you want to S him.
Yeah.
Like fireball move.
What do you reckon, Pedro?
It's an interesting card. Yeah, there are quite a lot of relevant knight forwards. I mean, namely Ramza, also the Opus 4 Steiner.
Definitely, yeah.
So yeah, I think this is a pretty. I mean, it's a welcome addition to the archetype.
If you're going down that road,
just like Korilla, I think this is a 3 in the Knights deck, but you probably don't play it outside of that or in some weird like combo effect deck.
Yeah.
Sounds good, Pedro.
Yep.
Cool. Next card, Jared. Do you want to tell us?
Sure thing. I need to get close to this one. This is a 2-cost monster called Schrodinger. Its job is Potcat. It's from 13. And it reads, when Schrodinger enters the field, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a forward, draw 1 card. If it is a backup, select 1 character in your break zone and add it to your hand. If it is a monster, your opponent selects 1 forward he or she controls and returns it to their owner's hand. If it is a summon, draw 2 cards.
So, like, it's all relevant.
Well,
right? I mean, like,
it's just you're just getting cards.
This is the lucky dip monster.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It's very cool. I'm not sure how I feel about it other than that.
Yeah. It's funny how like on the basic deck building of like you have the most forwards and backups and summons. The abilities kind of tier like that in terms of like the summon is probably what you want to draw.
It does almost nothing on its own. It just cycles. You probably rather put in other cards.
The only deck I would run this is if I was like had like other monsters that I wanted to sack with Kefka.
No, I mean I was going to bring that to the point because it doesn't do anything else when it enters.
Yeah,
it just stays there forever. It buffs your Gal. You can sack it for Kefka. You can animate it with Realm.
Yeah, I think that's sort of why this card exists. It's something that you don't have to worry about disappearing. It's just you play it and your opponent isn't going to want to remove it while it's just sitting in play. So it's there ready for your Realm or your Kefka to animate.
With Realm this becomes like the Light Zidane or something. Draws you cards when you play it. Just cheap 7k.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be.
It
Otherwise, it's not too impactful though.
Adds density to the mono water monsters.
Yep, counts for Cagnazo as well because it's gonna stick on the board.
And if you turn it into a forward when you attack with your Cloud of Darkness, I suppose as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I like this card. I think it's just a little difficult to judge.
I don't think we can rate it too highly.
Yeah, the problem is it's taking up a space in your deck.
Yeah, and that's
the thing. Like in itself is like that's pretty good, but then like when you like try to find a space where it's like I'd rather have these cards.
So how big is Gao as a base? It's 6, right?
6k, yeah.
So if Gao read 5 for a 7k that has his special ability and to draw a card probably. Does it make him better?
I think there are much better monsters to be getting back with Gal though. Especially like all the other 2-cost monsters in the set.
Yeah.
You're thinking about a particular one, aren't you?
Yes, there's one in particular.
The Black Knight. But so what do we rate this card? Just like a
I don't know.
2?
I mean,
I think it's a 2.
It draws you through cards, so it's not a 1. Right? Like it affects the game when it's played.
Somewhat.
So it just stops affecting the game the moment after it's played. I guess it's a 2.
I think it's a 2.
Because it should at least turn into another card. Yeah. That's my appraisal anyway.
Yeah, I'll give it a 2. I would give it a 2 thinking that this card can be relevant in future sets.
That's
Not
true.
really right now. Not really right now. Right now, I think it's really not good. But I'm thinking maybe in future sets we will see. I mean, you guys know that I know the chapter series, so I could think of a couple of cards that would make use of such a monster being on the field. So thinking of that, I would give it a 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
It occurs to me it's a 13 character, which is relevant for lightning.
It is, no, and that's the other thing, actually, it just occurred to me, right? You can play the Opus 3 5-drop lightning, and then play this, and then draw 2 cards. Because the Odin is on top of your deck.
I suppose you could.
You could just do that in water with Ephemeral Summoner.
Actually, that's kind of cool with ephemeral summoner.
Yeah, with Ephemeral Summoner, I guess you could do it. But come on, lightning is so much cooler. And then, like, the other lightning
I disagree that lightning is cooler than ephemeral summoner. But that's just, personal preference and bias.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Okay, and next card, and Pedro, do you want to tell us about it?
Sure. It's a 1 CP monster called Turnberry. Hails from Theorhythm. Job is Turnberry. And when a character opponent controls searches for 1 or more cards, put Turnberry into the break zone. If you do so, break that character.
That's interesting. I just noticed that it's like, as far as the game is concerned, it is the character searching for the card.
Yeah.
Not like the player. You don't get it's not you performing the effect. That's intriguing.
Generally, this is going to be really bad when it hits backups. Because generally, you don't mind your backup getting killed. You're just trading with Turnberries, and you even get the option to play another one later on into the game.
Yeah, but like people play like 3 copies of a searcher because like they really want, and now they have like, oh, you played a Turnberry, I can play this, and then play it again to find my other category 7.
Searchers generally aren't characters that you want to be breaking, except
forwards.
Yeah.
But even then,
if they've played their 3-cost searcher, if like they played Ico or just Alien by Sid, and you search
like
their Steiner or Sitzer, and then you play this, it becomes really awkward to play that card now. But I don't know.
I don't know if it's not even all the time super bad if you play a Setzer into it. That's a free like you get the Shiva effect straight away, which in some instances you probably want.
Is there like any competitive decks that don't do searching? I'm pretty sure like every competitive deck has some sort of searching, and so
there's so much of it in the game that it's like
they can just have the worst one get killed.
There are very few archetypes that don't have something that helps them, like that evens them out with the search.
Yeah.
I was just saying, like, at the very least, against that type of deck that doesn't search, it stays on the field as a water character.
No. It's terrible.
It's pretty bad, though. What do you reckon, Pedro?
It's really bad.
Yeah.
I think you could add, like, after this text, you could add, if you do so, break that character, draw 1 card, and it would still be bad.
Yeah.
I wish it stopped the search. That would be a cool card.
Oh, yeah. So if it stopped the search and just break.
Exactly.
Even if it didn't break the character.
It's like, negate that ability.
The next time your opponent would search, don't.
Even though you're losing, like, a CP because you pay for this and you're trading card for card, I think that opens up, like, some strategic depth if it read like that. But
wait. If it read it would be so much better because then it's like, you played a Sid, so... Then like they found like a Setzer. It's like I play this now. You can't find the luck, so you can make me this card.
So it adds a lot more strategy to the card. Yeah. But as it is, we should rate it as it is costed.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see anyone including this.
Fair enough. Is that okay, Pedro?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Next card, Kevin. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yes. This is a standard unit from Final Fantasy XIV. 2 cost 4K Arcanist. It reads Dull, choose 1 water forward. It gains 1000 power until the end of the turn. And it has Water 1, Dull, choose 1 forward. It loses 3000 power until the end of the turn.
So it's a forward, not a backup.
Yep, it is a forward, not a backup. And that's very important.
There's been so many of those in the set, don't you reckon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
It's interesting. Two fairly relevant abilities.
No, they are relevant, but it's like...
For a cheap thing.
I don't know because so the first one, I think it's obviously more vulnerable than a backup with these abilities. So we have to rate it worse than that. And the first ability is kind of like Ondor's ability.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna do that. I was gonna say that.
Which we agreed wasn't going to be too impactful. So any evaluation would have to come from the second ability, and the second ability is
win you
pretty
combat.
strong. Yeah, it will win you most combats, but this is a fragile forward.
It's an expensive cost for it too.
Yeah, because the first time you're getting it, you pay 2 and a card, and then you're paying 3 more. So it's like a 5 CP and a card to just minus 3k. That's pretty weak, I think.
And like at this point in time in the meta, the 2-drop water forwards need to be better than Knight. Because like there's so many water decks that just run Knight and like 1 or 2 Fame and Magogo and that's it.
Yeah.
So like the 2-drop water forward need to be better than that. So this one not really.
What are your thoughts, Pedro?
I agree with everything you guys said. Yeah.
Okay.
I can say about this card is I like the character design. That's
yes.
Okay. That's
That's
bonus
Carbuncle
points
on
for
there.
that.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Bonus points for that.
Yeah, that's the instructor for the Arcanist guild, I think.
okay.
That's pretty cool.
So
We've got to be running out of like classes from 14, right?
What
haven't we had a card for?
I don't think we've had the red mages.
there
the
are red
samurais.
Oh yeah, the new monks, right?
Yeah.
There's new monks as well.
Are there?
I don't
No,
know.
I'm pretty sure we have the Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, no,
Okay, we have all of them.
But yeah. We still have tons of classes to go, Jared. Come on.
What would you give this card, Pedro?
I would give it a 1. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I would
yeah.
say
I don't see myself putting this in a deck.
yeah.
It's got a neat ability, or a neat ability, but it's not very playable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next card, Jared.
Sure, we have he's from 14, right? Yeah. Batteron, who is a 4-cost backup, and he reads, when he enters the field, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 card from among them to your hand, and put the others on the bottom of your deck in any order. So it's kind of neat. That's a lot of filtration.
Yeah, obviously water is the only element that can do that. It's very, very unique to water.
No, Luso can do this now.
Oh, true. Yeah,
Luso's
yeah.
looking for something specific, whereas this is...
Oh, yeah.
And the starter buff here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Starter Balthier can do that.
Yeah,
Then
and
there's no Sky Pirates worth looking for.
this one doesn't telegraph what you find as well,
Yeah, you
unlike
don't have
those
to-
two.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The reason why I like these effects, even though they may not be that strong in this game, is that it really enables a combo deck. Because, like, whatever combat deck that you're doing, you're probably running water to get all those pieces put together. And this enables it. Say that you're running a Uniriku Pain combo, right, in your Wind Water deck, right? Would you rather have Artemisian, or would you rather have this and pick up the card that... Like, this is how I'd rate it. And
I would rather have Artemisian.
that's why...
I'd rather have Artemisian.
No, that's true. And that's why I would rate it lower than Artemisian, but it's still a nice, neat thing to have.
It's actually funny though, because if you want to compare it to like another 4-cost water backup, if you compare it to Merwib, such as like 50 cards for the card you want, rather than kind of it
can't search for...
While it Merwib can't search backups or summons
or from another element, obviously.
But I don't know. I don't.
It doesn't do enough. I agree with you, but it's it might be good in a combo deck. I'm not sure what combos we have. That's the only thing.
I'm thinking you might run one of it in a Palom Poram deck, just because you need to hit Paloms and Porams.
Maybe, yeah.
But I don't.
Definitely. In that deck, there's a lot of useless cards at any given point. So
and I'm not even. But then I'm not even convinced that you run any more than one of it as like a flex slot in your backup
even
line.
when it's maximized.
Yeah. So.
What do you reckon, Pedro?
I would have a tough time justifying having this in my deck. It's too expensive for a backup, and neat effect, but you play it, it enters the field, it does that, and then it doesn't do anything else for the rest of the game. I also don't really like backups like that. As good as the effect is, interesting. There's a legendary Poram that does that.
Yep.
I think
And
better. It's
something
got
else,
EX burst.
I think
The
if
EX
this
burst,
thing,
it's a forward.
Yeah, wait.
if this thing EX burst, it would be on par with Opus 2 Moab.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well,
Right,
if it
and
EX burst, it would be
People
borderline
have
playable.
since that thing got printed played that in plenty of decks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think what he's missing to be like a solid card is just like an EX burst. Like because we all like this effect, right?
Yeah.
The problem
Well,
is
probably
it's expensive
that
on
would
the
be a
backup.
hero card. That would be a hero card instead of a rare card.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
most-
he's
most
just
probably.
a rare. So
Very sad.
Most probably.
Alas.
What we give him? Just a 1?
No, I think
I think
he's
it's
a
a
two.
two.
Yeah, we all like the effect.
Yeah, like as I said, I can imagine myself
Yeah, true.
maybe putting
Yeah,
this in
true.
as a one-off.
Yeah, 2. Fine. Agree with that, Pedro?
yeah, sure.
Okay, and next card, Kevin?
Okay, this is a water summon called Bismarck. It's a 2-cost summon from Mobius, and it reads: select one of the 3 following actions. Choose one monster, return it to its owner's hand. Choose one character you control, return it to its owner's hand. Choose one forward, halve its power until the end of the turn, round down to the nearest 1,000.
So, this very effectively takes care of Ozma.
Yep.
Like this is like Water's answer to that, big...
Yeah,
Water's
it's
answer to its own monster.
Yep.
I mean, come on. There's gonna be mono water matchups all the time.
yeah.
What I like about this is that how flexible it is, because
Yeah.
I can see myself definitely using all 3 modes. So the last mode is like a Kuchulain, and it costs really similar to Kuchulain as well, which will just generally win you a combat, even though it doesn't EX burst. I think the added flexibility is worth it, because sometimes when my Scholar is down, I still want to save a forward to return it to my hand. Or maybe I have like some really good Into the Battlefield effect that I want to recycle. Maybe on my Lena just to get more. And also it just happens to have the monster hate that Water doesn't have on a summon.
So it has on Strago.
Yeah, it just has Strago for this in Water. So I really like the flexibility. And obviously being Water, it can't remove a monster, sadly.
Yeah. The other thing is 2 costs, and I think they've been very shy with 2-cost water monsters, and they just put this huge monster in front of us, and it's like because of the Una backup that can reduce its cost.
Una backup and the starter Garnet, I think, is why they've been really playing scared with the water summons.
So now like both of those cards got a boost.
Yeah, but now what you can do, you can play starter Garnet and return it to your hand.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's amazing.
Woo!
Yes. Yeah, that's
No. Wait. That's actually very good against. Oh no, wait. I was gonna say Amadar, but it has to go with Break Zone.
No.
No. What actually cares about entering and leaving the field? I'm sure there's something, right?
I don't think so.
Thief. Or the last set's Viking.
There's Theodore.
Oh yeah, Theodore.
Oh, Theodore.
Ooh.
That's not
But
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
But it's bad.
Yeah, but it's bad. You're paying 3 for like 1K or Brave or something.
At least we found something though. We found something for that.
Yeah, there we go.
You can bounce your pot cat.
Right, so like this one just kind of makes you win combat as well.
Oh yeah.
It's tremendously versatile.
Yeah.
Like I can think of uses for every one of those modes.
And it's slightly cheaper than Leviathaning your own Cagnesso. So, when they have an Emperor out so you can't Scholar, you just wipe it with Cagnesso and Bismarck.
So, but like, how many of this would you run though? That's the kind of like water summons are already so cramped for space.
I think the reason why it doesn't really though, it's like currently it's like Turnberries and Kuchulain. That's generally the choice people are making. Turnberries, Kuchulain, and Cyclops for like the combat summon. I think this just adds another one to that pool that you can choose from in whatever deck you want.
I've been thinking about Waterfire a lot in the lead up to this set, and with Legendary VV, Heroic Firion, and the new Poram, this makes all of those lethal to pretty much everything. And a lot of people wanting to try to run more Ifrits as well. This makes, if you really want to, all of the Ifrits are basically lethal with Bismarck.
Yeah. And also, if
it's not tremendously CP efficient, but
Yeah.
like it makes them more deadly, which is the problem with Ifrit, is it's not super great at killing everything.
Pedro, what do you think?
I think it's a really versatile card, and I like that in a card. And on top of that, it's a 2 CP, which makes it just so easy to play. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, good card. Good card
Right,
for
so
water.
I want to ask you guys a question. Like, just at the top of my head, right? I can't think of any water deck that I would not run this card. Like, quite honestly. Like, at least a one-off.
Okay. So you'd run at least one of them in every water deck.
In every water or water X deck that I'm going to make from now on, pretty much.
Can't think
And
of
so
a lot of
that's
reasons
why
why
I
you
would-
wouldn't.
So that's why I would say it's a 5-star
It's
card.
probably a 5, yeah.
The only reason why I wouldn't is because it doesn't have EX Burst, and most water summons have EX Burst, and sometimes people want to go for, okay, I'm gonna put whatever summons I'm gonna put in my water deck. They're probably all EX Burst, so that would be the only reason why I would consider taking this off. But at the moment, and without testing the card, it does seem pretty good.
Yeah, so just for people that don't know, the set still hasn't officially released, and we've only went to pre-releases. If you're seeing this down the line, but yeah. So like, I think it's a 5-star card, honestly.
I'm happy to give it a 5, but then again, it's not really a card that I'll play all too often.
I'm not sure about giving it a 5. But obviously, you're thinking you include it in every water deck because of what it does. But water can already do the same things, so it's not any added power.
Well,
it's just
actually,
more
It's
choice.
versatility.
No. Actually-
it's effects all in one place.
Yeah. So not only is it versatile, but that monster text bumps it up from a 4 to a 5 for me.
Is it the only card that water has that interacts with its
well,
opponent's
well,
monsters?
Well, other than Strego, but if you're not really running the 6-pack,
Yeah, that's right. Strego relies on too much additional card slot.
Yeah, I can understand it being a 5.
Come on, Kevin, you should be more excited. It's your element, Kevin.
It is. It's definitely. I really like the summon, but I don't know.
like,
I'm teetering.
Are
Between
you
4
going
and
to make
5.
room for this in every deck?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, that's.
I will if I'm making any water X deck.
I like.
It's definitely a very strong contender.
See, I'm claiming 5, but then I defer to your opinion on this because
What do you
it's
reckon,
either a
Pedro?
5 or quite a high 4.
What do you reckon, Pedro?
I would go with the high 4. I'm not really sure. I would like, for me, a 5. I guess I would definitely play 3 of it in a deck.
Oh no, not necessarily a 3 of. So like the 5 rating doesn't have to be 3 of that card.
Yeah,
5,
but I mean,
yeah.
personally speaking, that's what I would think.
Okay.
And as much as I like the card, I don't know. I would have to play with it a bit first before giving it a 5.
I
Okay.
think so.
So
Give it a 4 for now.
4.5.
4.5.
Yeah,
sure,
I'll make a
sure.
4.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Next card. This is a 2-drop water backup. Warrior, it's its job from type 0. When a party you control attacks, all forwards in that party gain 1,000 power until the end of the turn.
And it's called Celestia.
Oh yeah, it's called Celestia. Yeah. This kind of like works well with the other type 0 backup that we talked about, Doria, and so even then, it's still pretty bad.
I remember
I think
in
that's
Opus 1 when we started playing, one of the things I liked about Water was the fact that it's like the work together and party element, and we really haven't gotten much or a lot to support that
because we've
strategy
just
for a while.
We've just been getting good cards.
No,
individually
no,
instead.
no, you've
Yeah.
been stealing from other elements. That's what you've been doing.
Yes.
You've got a card that deals damage to them.
I like that these cards exist because they're also very good for when new players are entering the game and wanting to experiment with card like mechanics that don't really exist outside of this game, like the party system. It's nice to have cards that reward people for trying that sort of thing.
That's good.
And in a deck that's relevant, this card is going to be okay. Like it's a chocobo for all your forwards.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Pedro?
Okay, so we're talking about water backups, and there's just so many good water backups.
It feels like we're repeating ourselves again.
Yeah.
So what would you give it then?
I would give it a 1. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would give it a 1. Yeah.
I would also give it a 1.
I think one is right. Yeah.
Just like from the devil's advocate position, it's.
Do you want to give a +1?
Maybe, but I'm not fundamentally convinced myself.
Yeah.
It's a second walker whenever you party.
Yeah, you don't really see a lot of party attacks.
Generally, you're party attacking into water.
Forwards, right? Yeah, I mean, you have Turnberries, you have Cuculain, you have Bismarck now. Are you really gonna do a party attack?
I've only seen Morgan and Chris party attack, to be honest. And Chris just plays ice, and Morgan plays those unblockable wind guys.
I think.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. One's fine.
Next card.
Maybe in wind, but definitely not in water.
Yeah. Next card. Pedro, do you want to tell us about it?
Oh, I get to do both legendaries. Yay! So the next card, Poram from Final Fantasy IV. She's got EX Burst, 4 CP, 5k. When Poram enters a field, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card among them to your hand, and return the other cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. Also, action ability, 1 CP, dull. Choose 1 action ability and cancel its effect.
The Emperor for water.
This card is really cool.
I use my Poram to cancel your Poram action ability. Okay, so just considering that you pick like a draw a card, and typically you're gonna draw a card that you want, right? She's like a on curve 2 CP 5k.
How many cards does she show you?
3.
3. Okay.
And you know, the EX burst is very nice, I guess. But if she ever sticks on the field, right, then I guess she has that extra little ability. But like the way I'm thinking is like I run VV, like the backup VV, and I'm like that just kind of just removes like all these kind of small little guys. Yeah, I feel like most decks should have a way to deal with these small little guys.
There are also like certain action abilities that are just like not worth canceling. It's like, for example, the Dragoon gives itself first strike. You cancel it, it just gives itself first strike again. So it's not as effective as the Emperor.
I think
shutting down everything.
It's better at like there are also a lot of powerful effects that rely on you breaking the thing that's paying for it. So
that's true. Yeah.
It's good for answering those actions.
But
no, it's
generally
it's
not doing that when they have this on board.
Yeah. But it hits a wide lot of things, even though.
Yeah. My problem was this is that it's called Poram,
Yeah.
which you might think it's an upside, but I think this is worst in a deck with other Porams.
But it's better in a deck with other Paloms than most Porams, because it'll find you more Paloms.
But I would definitely not put this in a deck with other Porams, I think, just because it doesn't have an S itself, and generally
it does feed into the other S's for those Porams, and the EX burst is
pretty
relevant.
It's a
It's still going to be relevant in your deck.
What do you reckon, Pedro?
I really like this card, mostly for its enter the field effect. I think she's really useful. Also, since you don't actually have to reveal the cards, that is also a plus.
That's great.
You get 1 card, but your opponent doesn't know what you get.
And then you smile mischievously.
Exactly. You look at the 3 cards.
They'd be like, "Whoa, I had that on my deck."
you make that grin. You make. Then you go into battle phase.
Then you go into battle phase, attack with the 1k Viking.
And your opponent's gonna be like, "Wow, what did he get?"
Like he must have gotten Mateus. He must have had that that what of Mateus.
Oh god, that thing is so terrifying.
No, I really like the card. I like searching for stuff and adding stuff to your hand that you need. And I mean, I love the X burst. For me,
how relevant do you think the ability is, though?
I would say it's fair. I mean, you probably won't play this card for the ability. The ability, it's more just like a bonus.
Yeah, it's gravy.
Most of the time, you're playing it for the enter the field effect. If the card happens to stay on the field after it's played, then you might be able to use it. But like you guys mentioned, there are action abilities that are not really worth being cancelled. But of course, there are others that are. You can cancel a scholar or a red maid.
You can keep cancelling their Ozma, so they can never use it special.
Just having it there
something like that.
forces your opponent to like. You're not going.
You have to respect it.
Yeah,
you have to respect
like
it.
it rattlesnakes some action abilities.
So if it does stay on the board, it's a nice bonus. It's a nice thing to have. But if it doesn't stay on the board, you can just play another one and get another card, which is why I think the card is so good. It has high replay value.
What are your thoughts on like its name is Poram? Like, cause I think like I don't know. At least in our local meta, Kevin's been playing more of the Opus 3 Poram, right? The one that activates all the forwards, and so that one has been very good. So
I think that's more due to a prevalency of ice players in our meta.
Yeah, but like
it's a meta call more than anything else.
Opus 4, like made ice go straight to the top.
I don't fundamentally agree with you, but sure.
But like if like ice still continues to dominate, which I don't think it will, but if it does, like the Opus 3 Poram, like would it beat out this Poram, or would you just run both?
You can run both.
It doesn't really bother me that it's called Poram. I mean, honestly, I've never run any of the other Porams. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, they never justified being in a deck for me. But obviously, this is meta game depending, right? Yeah. Here in Japan, I think I've seen very few of Opus 3 Poram being played, to be honest.
Okay. I think that's when I first saw it in a list, though. Wasn't it? Like one of the lists that was.
Oh no, they were running the 3-cost Poram.
Yeah, that was like in a team format.
Oh, okay.
I believe. So it was a bit particular.
There was that deck that played the 1-drop that turned it into the
3-drop.
The 3-drop and the bounce.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, I don't have any problem with it being called Poram, honestly.
What would you give it, Pedro?
I'm very tempted to give this card a 5, but I'm gonna refrain myself and I'm gonna give it a 4.
I think
and there's not really synergy score, yeah.
I don't think so.
You can make an argument that because this card is just is good on its own, you don't need to consider necessarily the Poram synergies.
Exactly. Unlike the new Poram.
Yeah.
The new Poram wants this Poram.
I mean, any Poram, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, any Poram, because this one is the most efficient of the Porams. This is the one you're going to want to be playing.
Oh, hey! If you the new Poram in particular, I definitely don't think this card deserves a 5.
I'm happy with 4.
I can definitely
4 is good.
I don't see this going into too many of my decks, but yeah, it's definitely a nice option to have. So.
Okay, so 4. Moving on, Jared, do you want to do this card?
This is a 2-drop backup called Flintlock. It reads, choose 1 forward. It doesn't receive damage that is less than its power this turn.
Wow.
Why do we need more of this?
Wow.
I don't want any more of this.
For people that don't know, Jared is our local fire player, so he doesn't like Minwoo.
I'm tired of being stymied by at least this one consumes. Why don't we just ban Minwoo and people can have Flintlock? I'd be happy with that.
No, but then I can't Hekaton kill.
Archer or Sephiroth, it doesn't matter. It only has to happen once. Bloody Minwoo.
It's pretty cool because it kind of it's like give your forward first strike kind of thing. That's the kind of way I kind of read
this it. This card is funny because like right now I want to rate it as a 1 because Minwoo is just absolutely better in every instance.
You don't need this unless it's Minwoo.
But I'm just trying to think if Minwoo didn't exist, what would this card get?
Well, I remember Luso, right? You might not just to end up with higher FFA TA2 card density. You might want to run this instead of Minwoo. So there's a possibility.
But running a wind water
if the doesn't receive damage less than its power thing didn't exist previously, what would we think of it now?
We'd be like, we don't know how to rate it because we haven't experienced that.
No, I'd look at it like it was a Titan style effect. Like, really? Because that's what in most situations it would be, right? You're like not so much Titan, but the Earth backup from the previous set that is a Titan for dull things. Like your opponent has to know they know it's there, and they have to basically throw away an effect if it's active in order to kill something.
More damage than their power.
Well, for a lot of
then
forwards,
you don't have to
like
use this.
depending, if you're running this, right, your forwards are at awkward damage thresholds, right? If you've put this into a deck where it's going to be even remotely useful, you've got 8Ks and 10Ks and things like that, or they're that size after buffing, right? So there's relatively little removal that operates at those thresholds.
What 2-cost backups are you removing?
None, because you're not playing the card.
Even though I don't think it's a 1.
Really?
No,
it's a 2. It's a relevant because it's a relevant effect.
It's not a 1.
What do you
it
think,
does
Pedro?
something.
I would actually rate this card quite highly.
Higher?
Yeah. I don't actually play Minwu a lot.
We should play sometime. That sounds so refreshing. A water player without Minwus.
Yeah, I mean, if you see the water deck list that I post, I mean, you'll hardly ever find Minwu there.
Okay.
Water doesn't really need it. So this is actually a nice addition to those decks because it's a 2 CP backup. It's easy to play. You can have that Minwu effect on demand if you need it. I don't really like playing Minwu. Like, for example, you get your first hand, you mull, and then you have to play like Minwu, pay 4 CP to play Minwu. I see that happening a lot, actually. But if you have this card, it's a 2 CP, you're okay with putting it on the board. It might do the job, maybe not, but it's more like... it depends on your opponent, right? So sometimes you play Minwu, which is a 3 CP backup. It's kind of slow, and then it's not gonna do anything, for that matchup. At least this one is just a 2 CP, so I would prefer to play 2 CP backups over 3 CP backups, anytime.
That's
fair enough. I'm glad we got another opinion here because because of all the prevalence of this particular person here. I never take Minwu out of my decks, so I think it's good to have an opinion from a person that doesn't play Minwu.
I would give it a solid 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
I think it's convincing. Yeah.
You wanted to give it a 1. Next card. Kevin, do you want to tell us about it?
Okay, so this is a 2-cost backup. It's called Green Mage. So we already got blue mages, red mages. Now it's green mages.
Was there green mage in Wind?
I don't think so.
Why did water get it first?
Water gets everything first.
What does it do?
Okay, it reads dull. Put green mage into the break zone. Choose one action ability. Cancel its effect.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like the summoner from the last...
It's a Poram on a backup.
Yeah, it's a Poram on a backup. Except this one you only play it for the effect.
That's right. Yeah, you would only include it in your deck.
Yeah. And I think we agreed for Poram, you play it for the other thing.
Yes.
All right, can we think of any action abilities that are worth halting? Like, at the cost of a backup?
Yeah, the thing about this is if you ever want to use it, you have to keep it up, which makes your turns less efficient.
Yeah.
And
that's always a consideration.
You get to keep it up against Devout, and now Miner, and now Gladiator.
Yeah,
there are plenty of...
That's true.
Like, just having it in play against a lot of decks.
Yeah. Just having it in play and having it at stand, your opponent will have to play around it if he's planning on using some major, action. Like the fire and lightning red mages.
That's
pretty much any monster.
Yeah.
It cancels actually a lot of stuff. And being a backup, again, a 2 CP backup, which is easy to play. That's pretty good. It allows you to make space in your backup line for other backups. That's also pretty easy to remove. I mean, players pretty much use action abilities all the time. So if you have already your 5 backups and you want to open a slot, you can probably get rid of green mage very easily. So yeah, I mean, again, water has very nice 2 CP backups, and I think this is one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't deny that. I'm just gonna go a little bit left field here and say that if you ever do want to use the action abilities against this card, you know what would be the best card against it?
What?
The Opus V Heroic Squall. You attack with it first, and they have to dull all of their backups, and then use your action ability.
Actually, that would be relevant, I think, in some ice decks. If you're worried about this sort of thing,
yeah.
because like then your Devout is safe.
That's real deep.
Like there's actually a relevant extra card there. So I don't know.
I mean, like that card is not played. I don't think it'll be played, but it's just a little fun thing.
I think it's a 3.
What would you? Oh, okay. You think it's a 3?
You think?
Yeah. Pedro, do you think it's a 3? Because it's a 2-cost backup.
It's worth consideration in your backup line.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So next card is a 3-cost Moogle Knight at 7,000 power. It's a forward standard unit from FFTCG. Pay 1 water CP. Moogle Knight doesn't receive any damage from opponent summons or abilities this turn.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like a Ranger or Trey.
Yeah.
I thought
You just have to pay for
you'd be more mad because it's like technically a min move. Actually, better than a min move.
No, I'm okay with I'm okay with like effects that.
They're
That's only
that
for
you
one
can't
turn.
target.
Protects himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool standing unit. Like it trances the is there 3-drop 7k standing unit water.
Yeah.
That just does
Honestly,
nothing.
It's pretty just resilient. Honestly, in certain decks.
This is an instance of something finally being strictly better than.
I don't imagine you play this over Ash, but you know.
Oh no, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
but it feels similar to Ranger, the wind.
Maybe if you're
unit.
making some sort of wind, water, untouchables list.
Yeah,
it's a standard unit though. That's very relevant.
kind of, but
No, imagine having
if you're playing a standard units list.
this
you
is
might-
definitely
you
still
run this, I think.
killable. You know, you it can still get Idiot, get Odin.
Yeah, but at that point, it's
As
like,
EX
would you?
lists.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like
you can
at
always just pay the 1 if
Yeah.
they're playing the effect.
No. It
It's
just
just only
doesn't
damage.
take damage.
Oh, it doesn't take damage.
Yeah.
I thought it said couldn't be targeted.
No, no.
sorry.
No,
Sorry.
it does take damage. But like, even then, like you're probably better off like if they Odin'd it or if they Idioted it instead of them doing it better forward.
Yeah, but you could just play Ash.
Yeah, Ash is. Like the argument for this is the multi-card icon, then,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like that's the true point of
Understand
difference
unit.
between the two. And I suppose
guess
standard
it can.
unit is a more relevant job than princess.
Yes.
Mm.
What do you reckon, Pedro?
I really like this card. There are very good things about it, and there are a few things that are bad about it. The fact that it's a standard unit obviously makes it. I mean, so I think like in your other scale list, you could give it a +2 because if you build a deck that's around standard units, then this card is going to be massive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you build such a specific deck, there's Arc and maybe Maria or Akka, whatever. So you can buff this card to really powerful levels, and then the ability is really good. I mean, if there was a fire element in FFTCG, this card would be absolutely amazing.
Wait. Are you saying there isn't fire?
Well, yeah,
Did we only record 5 set reviews?
we only got 5.
Oh, there's fire cards?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jared.
One day
I
I
love
will,
fire.
I
I
will
love
burn you
fire,
all to
sorry.
death, and it'll be fantastic.
No, but like, okay, by itself, yeah, the problem is that there are a lot of 3 CP, 7k forwards in water that are better than this guy. But, I mean, I think this is a very good card.
Yeah.
It can compete for those slots without a problem. And, it's resilient against fire, it's resilient against lightning as well. So I think it's a really useful card, and the fact that it's a standard unit,
Good
maybe
gladiator
people-
target.
yeah, exactly, a gladiator target, but people maybe will glance over it, maybe not pay too much attention to it, but actually if you try and play it, it might surprise you.
Actually, wait. That's actually not bad. I'm just thinking about it. Is that, like, ever since Elcid, right? I've always gave proactive forwards that don't die to Elcid a much higher priority, right? Like in my deck, I'm like, okay, if I'm versing against lightning, what forward am I playing first?
Yeah,
because
Exactly,
I like to be the aggressor, right? I'm not the one staying back until for them, because if I wait for them to build up the backups, then I'm probably gonna get overrun. So, like, what forwards am I playing to not get out tempoed by Elcid? This will be one of those forwards. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, the fact that it does get competed with shouldn't take away from the value of the card itself.
No,
Yeah.
It's definitely a powerful effect.
I'm gonna say that this is a 2+2.
I think it's a 3+1.
Yeah.
3+1.
3+1.
Okay. Pedro, you agree?
Because I think it is itself powerful enough to seek like consideration in decks, and
Yeah.
like the standard unit synergies do bump it just a little bit further. It's also TA2.
Yeah. Tattoo.
Yeah, I would go actually with 3+2.
3+2.
Oh, 3+2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so you think that in a deck that's fully utilizing standard unit, this is like a card that we have to say, why aren't you not playing this
That's
card?
a fair enough conclusion,
Yeah,
actually.
no.
Because protection scales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
From among the like the catalog of standard units,
Yeah,
like
and goes in the same
he's
spot
among
as
the best
Ranger.
three.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rangers
That's
cost CC a lot of play.
Yeah. So
Right.
yeah, it's all on that tier, and if you can support it, I think.
Yep. All right. Okay. I'm convinced. 3+2.
3+2. Pedro, do you want to do this next card
Again.
again?
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was my exclusive spoiler for my Final Fantasy Corner page. Leviathan, 1 CP water summon with EX burst. Choose one forward. If its cost is equal to or less than the number of cards in your hand, return it to its owner's hand. It seems pretty fair.
It is.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty fair. I mean, obviously, you're losing one card from your hand when you cast it, so that's the downside.
You have to keep it in mind.
But
yeah.
I mean, you have to keep that in mind. But it only costs 1 CP. On top of that, it has EX burst. So I don't see a reason not to run this card. We all can agree that Leviathan is one of the best summons in the game.
Yeah.
Can't disagree.
This is a cheaper Leviathan, maybe not as versatile as obviously the 3 CP one, but it's very close to it. So
Definitely this definitely goes in the more control-y water decks that like to keep a lot of cards. Because if you're using just the 3 CP Leviathan to remove a blocker after committing your entire hand, it's not going to be this Leviathan is not going to replace it in that case. But definitely it's just going to be if you're playing really slowly, having 5 cards in the hand all the time, it's almost always going to hit every target you want it to hit.
That's
Yep.
right.
It only, I guess, doesn't hit like Minerva, which
It can hit Minerva.
It can
it's just
hit Minerva.
like the stars have aligned
Yeah.
perfectly. You have your own Minerva in play,
Yeah.
feeding you extra cards.
Actually, the reason why I really like this card, right, is because it's like a cheap Leviathan, which makes you move away from playing the Una R. The rare Una has been so pivotal and
I'd say
any
that
mono
the-
water.
No, not anymore.
I mean, like,
it is
the
definitely
majority,
a local thing.
the majority. I guess maybe it's a local thing.
Yeah,
but
because
it is definitely
when we've talked to players from different metas,
Yeah.
they've indicated
They've
that
played
other
Una,
units
yeah.
have been more prevalent.
But for me, right, like if I'm playing a water X deck, right, and say that I don't want to commit to the Unar, I want to play Unar H, or I don't want to play Unar or Unar H, or I want to play the forward, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? I would I would not feel so bad to remove the Unar R because this is
that's
because now I'm like this is 1 CP Leviathan that obviously it's like less versatile, but like it's still fine.
What I love about this one is that I think this and Bismarck give us much more of a reason to play the starter Garnet, which I've always had a pet love for.
Yeah, the starter Garnet is pretty good.
Now it actually casts things that aren't fairy or Moogle.
Yeah.
Or poo-poo, I guess. And
It becomes a worse Strago.
Worse Strago? Maybe in some instances a better one.
No, it's a like a Strago that you know it's gonna hit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What I like it as well is, well, first it's bad against ice. That's not something I like, but it is.
You play against a lot of ice. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing though is that since it's a bit conditional, the value of like Leviathan in general, but a bounce effect scales with the cost of the opponent's board.
Correct, yeah.
And since this is cheaper, but it also is less likely to hit those better targets. So I think this is a really well designed card.
Oh no, it is, yeah, definitely. Well, what do you think of our thoughts, Pedro?
Yeah, I think they're pretty much in line with what I think.
Yeah.
I would just like to add that this might actually be very good against ice, and I'll explain because everyone seems very impressed with the new Matthews summon that Ice got.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And it's obviously a tremendous card. But so when a player has that card in hand, what they'll most likely try to do is they're going to attack with those small guys, right? They're going to attack. I don't know. Maybe let's say it's a nice water, and they played Shulk, and then a Viking from Shulk, and then next they're attacking with a Viking.
Yeah.
And you're like, they're like, what the hell? Why are they attacking with a Viking? and then you block, and they cast Matthews, and Viking is only a 2 CP forward, so you can easily use this Leviathan to bounce that.
Correct.
I mean, you end up losing because then they can play Viking again.
But they have
It's a bad example, but
I think it's a fine example
It's a
because
fine example.
they play the Mattias anyway, right? So
yeah, exactly.
it's just neutral in that
and
instance.
they only
My
have so
idea-
many Mateus in the decks anyway.
Yeah, that's my idea. So Matthews is going to enable the attacks with the small guys, and this can answer those attacks with the small guys.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how it's balanced that it's 1 CP that you kind of want to have backup up in order to use it. Otherwise, if you're discarding 2 for this, it's like...
Yeah, you definitely
hurts,
don't want to discard a card.
Discarding a card and playing this, obviously. It's like, it kind of hurts, but... so that's why it's super balanced, I guess. But not balanced out of the meta, I don't think.
No.
So, what would you give it, Pedro? This is your card.
I would give it a 3.
Oh, just a straight 3?
I think it's a 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't demand to be in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't replace
Yeah.
the other Leviathan either.
Okay.
It's not a straight upgrade.
So
It's
Jared,
like your extra Leviathan. The next one.
next one.
We have a Fisher, which is one of the 14 backups. Standard unit. It has water, generic, and dull. Put it in the break zone. Choose one monster that costs 3 or less in your break zone. Put it onto the field. You can use this ability only during your turn.
I guess we don't have to spend too much on this card.
I don't know.
Too much time.
I mean,
It's cool. There are lots of things for it to target.
there's Death Gaze.
Yeah.
Overall, it's really expensive. I think it's.
It's pretty expensive.
If you just compare it to Gladiator,
Yeah,
which is the fairest one. It costs 2 CP more, and it's just monsters, which I think are probably worse than the standard units.
in most
That's right, yeah.
instances, especially because there's so much synergy for standard units.
What do you think, Pedro?
So, I mean, first, I think we should think about what monsters are worth bringing back from the break zone. You want to make the most out of its value, so 3 CP monsters. There's Marlboro, Behemoth, and now Death Gaze. I don't know if I'm missing some, but I think that's probably
Those
it.
are,
Yeah,
3
I
CP
think
ones.
that's
I
it.
think Bomb
Yeah.
might be
No.
worth bringing back. Like,
well,
you bomb
yeah.
and then Fisher back your bomb and bomb again to deal
Maybe.
8k to everything.
Yeah.
It's
Right,
expensive
right.
to do that, but it might wrath the board, and you can just set up your Fisher ahead of time.
Right. So again, it's a 2 CP backup. It's easy to play. You can get rid of it later on if you want or need to. And the things you bring back, they're all pretty good, and you're pretty much paying what you're bringing back. So if you think about it, you can just like discard one. You can discard a Marlboro, play Fisher, and then later on in the game just pay the CP to bring that Marlboro back. I think it's a pretty good card.
Yeah. It's
And
less efficient, but more flexible than Sid Waff.
Yeah.
yes, and then there'll be water monsters is a thing. So I think this card will actually see a lot of play.
Yeah. Multi-card icon is also important. You can only have one
And
Sidwoff in play. You can have 3 Fishermen.
Yeah, it's a standard unit.
Okay, what would we give this card?
3.
Let 3 move on?
I think 3.
Cool. Cool.
I would give it a 3, maybe +1 because of the monster. You know, it's made the monster deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
No,
it's only a 3 in the monster deck.
Yeah.
For me, that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I think that too, because it is expensive. It's versatile, but it's expensive, and we're considering it that you are putting in a monster deck anyway.
Well, insofar as it has to have targets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. I see.
So yeah, I wouldn't really give it a 3+1.
All right, so just 3.
Okay. Yeah, move
Okay.
on. Next card, Kevin.
Okay, this is the Water Warrior of Light. It's a 3-cost 7k Refia, and it reads, the job Warrior of Light forwards and water forwards other than Refia you control gain 1000 power. Dull a total of 5 active water forwards or water backups. Choose 1 forward opponent controls. Return it to its owner's hand.
So
Bananas.
this is good.
It's
I think
bananas.
so. Yeah.
Bananas.
Obviously, this is like a 5. Comparing to the other Warriors of Light, this is dulling 5 characters, so it's almost impossible to splash.
Yeah.
So this only goes in mono water, but in mono water, it I think is incredibly strong, and it allows a very different. It allows multiple different styles of play actually, because you can. There's the style of play where you spam the board with Vikings and just get free value while playing things with your backups, or you can. In a much more control-y deck, just draw 2 cards, pass the turn with 5 backups active, and then just respond to everything your opponent does, and then make their life miserable. I think that's also a possible avenue of play, and also it just gives your forward another 1000 power, as if water needed that.
Yeah, it's not like you needed more buffs.
Yeah, the thing I like about this is that it really competes for the warrior, the light spot in your deck. Because you're probably not going to put Warrior of Light and Sedan in a water deck.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but you don't even need to. You're playing water forwards.
Yeah.
They all get a buff too.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about water
forwards,
of
you're
Light.
probably playing this card.
Oh no, that's true. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like
It is a consideration.
Yeah,
Though. It's
I'm
not
saying-
just
I'm-
like
I'm saying it's a huge
Insta
consideration.
Zidane.
What do you think, Pedro?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that water gets 3 legendaries this set. Right? No, but like you said, so this only goes in mono water, and obviously it's a must-have in a mono water. It's too bad it doesn't include monsters, but since compared to the Water Warriors of Light, which you have to tap 3, this one you have to tap 5. So it would have been nice if it was a water character instead of forwards or backups. But even still, the card, I mean, theoretically, seems really, really good. So, yeah, maybe there was no need to add to it even more.
Yeah, I mean, if you have 3 Schrodingers in play, you can make them all forwards with the Dark Kefka and then dull them. Yeah, it's possible.
Oh,
That's
wow.
cool. Yeah, you can do that.
That's the thing. But yeah, I think this is just a very strong card. It's been spoiled quite a while back, so there's not really much more to say than other things.
It definitely, how much you want to go all in on the Refia plan is definitely going to be an interesting consideration for water decks in the future.
I think 4+1 for this.
Oh, really? I would just give it a straight 5.
Well, no, I think...
Because you're not playing this other than mono water.
Aren't you?
No, I'm not.
You sure?
Yeah, 100%.
What about in some sort of weird Warrior of Light deck? I know you're going to make
I would-
that.
yeah,
You're going to play Refia
I
in your
am.
Earth Water.
Oh no, I'm gonna play the other
man.
Refia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's like I've made that deck before, but now it has way more. Pedro, you good with that?
Am I okay giving 5 to a card that only sees play in mono water?
4+1 is fine.
Yeah, maybe I'll go with that.
Kevin, you good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's exactly
Next card
right.
is the 4-drop forward Rosa. She's an EX bursts, 5,000 power. When Rosa enters the field, you may search for 1 card named Cecil and add it to your hand. She has an ability as well, Dull. Choose 1 forward during this turn. The next damage dealt to it is reduced by 1,000 instead. If the forward is card named Cecil, during this turn, the next damage dealt to it is reduced by 3,000 instead.
So she's a searcher.
She is a searcher.
It's a pretty funny searcher though, because she has lots of synergy with the cards she searches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Cecil, both the water ones at least, protect her, and then she protects the Cecil in return. So it's a nice synergy going on.
Yeah, wait. Do you think that the Opus 1 Cecil will come back into play because of her?
I mean, I already played the Opus 1 Cecil in a few of my decks,
yeah.
But
I always felt
it's
bad
worth a
playing that way.
consideration.
yeah.
It's definitely worth a consideration.
I don't think anymore. There's a lot of things that destroy it, but
the cool thing, it can search for the Earth Cecil.
That's probably the best thing for this card.
Yeah.
So searching the Earth Cecil to SM.
Yeah, either that, or just play the new legendary
I think
Earth Cecil.
I think I'm more likely to put this in a deck to find the legendary Water Cecil myself. Just because I say that because I've been like entirely shut down by it so many times. But
no, it can really like destroy. And now you've got, not only have you got the legendary Steiner, but you've also got this Raphier to dull that Cecil, so that doesn't have to block.
And even if you do block, you can reduce the damage
like
by 3,000.
I'm just saying.
You need to deal at 12k in combat to kill it. Hard to do.
It's pretty bad, But like even then, I think it's like the generic Searcher score +1.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I'm happy with that.
I'm not sure. I think I would just give it a straight 3.
What do you reckon, Pedro? You be the decider.
Me? Actually, I'm not very keen on this card, to be honest. I don't think Water needs to search for Water Cecil.
Yeah.
But maybe Earth needs to search for the Earth one. So I would actually maybe play this card in with Earth. If I could find the space to put it, I'm not really sure I could justify having this 4 CP forward in the deck. I would just give it a 2.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Split table.
Okay. Let's go 2+1 then.
I like that it's a forward that searches for more forwards. Those tend to be very powerful.
I think we're just gonna split the difference. Take my +1 and take Pedro's 2.
All right.
And make it your 3.
Okay. All right.
That works.
Okay.
Moving on.
Okay. Move on. Is Pedro? Do you want to tell us?
Okay, we have Orator, 2 CP forward with 5k from Final Fantasy Tactics. Standard unit. It's got an action ability. Dull. Choose one forward. Select a job. It gains that job until the end of the turn.
This is another card.
That should have been backup.
Yeah. I put this in the backup when I played it, but I actually only noticed the power right now.
The thing is that I wish it was a backup because it would go in my Sky Pirates deck.
Oh my!
I mean, it wasn't gonna be a good deck anyway. Just give me something that can make them to Sky Pirates. Because Penelo's like everything has to be Sky Pirate.
But if you have this in play,
and then what?
Penelo can't work unless it makes itself a Sky
Exactly.
Pirate.
So that's so bad. Like
something interesting is that in like those spammy water standard units with the Water Warrior of Light, the Water Warrior of Light often is like quite vulnerable. So if you have this in play, you can make that Warrior of Light a standard unit. You give itself +2k in first strike.
Yeah.
Give it some form of protection.
That's kind of cool.
But this card used to be a backup in chapters.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
maybe they'll print it as a backup at some point down the line.
That just makes me feel so sad.
Yeah, it's really sad that the card is out as a forward. I was so surprised when I saw this. I was like, "Yay! They put what? It's a forward? What?"
All right, so I think we
1+1?
can. I think we can give it a 2.
2. What do you reckon, Pedro?
1+1 or 2. Yeah. Total of 2.
I think 1+1.
Yeah, 1+1.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, 1+1. Next card, Jared.
Sure, we have another Orator, but this time it's a backup, and he says, "Break him, dull him. Choose a monster you control, return it to your hand." So you get to replay your Turnberry, replay your Schrodinger, replay your... Is there anything else that we really care about replaying monster-wise?
There aren't that many monsters with on-entry abilities.
Yeah, those are the only 2 that come to mind.
Yeah. So, what would you reckon, Pedro?
I'd say, you could have this card to protect something, so you played Ozma, which is, a big investment, and your opponent removes Ozma. You maybe tap this guy to get Ozma back into your hand, or a behemoth, something relevant, right? That you played, and your opponent is spending resources to get rid of it, and you just tap this, get it back to your hand, so you can play it later.
Yeah, comparing it to Scholar, I think it's
exactly. Yeah, it's kind of a
that's the
scholar
best
for
comparison.
monsters.
It's but but I don't think there's any monsters right now. It might get better in the future, but just right now, I don't think there's any monsters that are worth it.
Yeah, I think currently it's just Ozma in my opinion. I mean, yeah, Royal Ripeness isn't really going to see play.
So the other thing, I think we could just give this a 2 and move on. It's a 2-cost backup.
Yeah,
it will definitely get better in the future.
Yeah,
there's lots of potential for growth.
Yeah.
And just the last last 2 starter cards, just before we end it. There's a 3-cost forward Ash. She's a princess. 7,000 power forward. When Ash enters the field, if you control Job Sky Pirate, draw a card. And Dull, choose 1 Job Sky Pirate, activate it. Kevin was pretty excited about this card when it first came out.
I was
expecting.
Expecting
Sky
what
Pirate
I wanted, because like if her effect goes off, she's a 1-cost 7k, like Fame and Makoto. That's pretty good. But so I was expecting with the 12 starter deck being in Wind Water, maybe we'd get a Water Sky Pirate, but no.
That would be cool. That would have been cool.
There's still time.
We have
all of the future left for them to print those cards.
There's still only Van Veltier.
And what is it getting activated? Like Van and Veltier, and that's it.
And especially since with the new Wrestler, I think it's like the other Ash pushes this Ash out so much.
Yeah.
She's not going to see any play just out of the virtue of the other one being so good.
What do you think, Pedro?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Cool. Yeah. What would we give it? 2?
Yeah. I mean,
if
you play her...
Actually, the reason why I would give it a 2 because it's Ash S fodder.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna put one of this with my Ash
for
just
like
for S fodder.
2 days, and then you'll take it out for something that's actually relevant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll give it a 2 and move on to
Because I'll keep it for 2 days.
Yeah.
all right. Yeah.
Okay. Now the Larsa is a 6-drop water backup, 4th born son of the Emperor, and when Larsa enters the field, draw 2 cards. Larsa put it from the field into the break zone, draw 1 card.
I really want to like this card.
Yeah.
Wait. Pedro.
What's the job? Yeah.
Is this guy Job a Prince in Japanese?
I believe he is. Yes.
Yeah.
But the forward was also Job Prince, actually.
Okay, so that's weird because I know they did this for a couple of the forwards. That they changed the jobs in translation.
And that Japanese card, it's like more versatile than this card because isn't there like a thing that can activate
Job
Prince?
Yeah, because in English his job is something weird.
4th born son of the Emperor.
I know they did this for like some of the other cards as well.
Wait, so is that legal in Japan?
Yeah, so let me check. Yeah, Larsa is Prince.
Wow.
The backup. But I think the English one is also Prince?
No.
Nope.
No.
4th born son of the Emperor.
Emperor.
Yeah, in English.
I think that's the forward, right?
No, that's the backup.
Even the
We're
backup.
looking at it now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yup.
That is so weird. It's like my Japanese card has more utility than your English card.
Yeah, they might need to.
What is the default language of the game? Is it Japanese or English?
I think it is Japanese. That's weird.
Because then, so like in Magic, right? If there's a misprint outside of the base language that causes the card to do something else, the game rules say it defaults back to the English translation. So it'd be very interesting if in Final Fantasy
if it gets relevant.
both Larsas are sort of retroactively errated from a games rule perspective to being princes.
Because I know Leon was changed from a job.
Yeah, so when that errata came up, I think all languages were defaulted to English, to be honest. I think, yeah, even the Japanese ones, the forward Larsa, I think it also became the same job as the English version.
Oh, okay.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw like in another, I think maybe it was Italian. The Italian Larsa, the backup, was also Prince.
Oh.
And there was a discussion going on if like the backup had a different job from the forward.
Right. That's interesting.
That's
So I thought the English one was also Prince, but if it's not, then I guess that's something that has to be addressed.
But that's
Again.
probably the most interesting thing about the Slar set.
I like that this is a card in this game that says unconditionally draw two cards.
Draw
Yeah.
two cards.
The other thing is the Drace. It can bump up Drace, but even then, it's not even that great.
For
And
6.
like, how are you gonna break it? Like, even Death Gaze can't break
Well,
it.
I mean, we look at 4-cost backups that draw a card as if they're 2-cost backups most of the time, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Isn't
worth.
this kind of the same?
It's not worth.
I mean, I can see this in one situation is when you're top decking late game and then you have a Lasso in hand and then you top deck 2 backups.
You get to throw them away and
You get
draw
to throw
two
them
new
away
cards.
and draw 2 cards.
The
But
other thing that I can think
outside
of
of that
is if you're a Phoenix deck, you get to throw away more options.
Yeah.
So
But yeah.
whatever reason, if you want to.
yeah.
We would,
if you're in fire, you can throw away. I mean,
So we give this card the same as the Scots, -5.
I don't know. It's I'm not willing to give it a high score or anything,
No,
but
definitely.
I think that there might be some hidden secret
I
utility.
I mean, if it was a prince,
For
we
random.
would give it higher.
Yes,
but-
yes. So the English version is 1 and the Japanese version is 1+1.
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
definitely.
all right.
Yeah.
I'm on board with this.
You okay with that, Pedro?
Yeah.
Anyways, it's so cool having you here on this set review, Pedro.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks
No,
for
it's
joining
my
us.
pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Do you want to tell our audience where they can find you?
Oh, sure. Look me up on Facebook. I have a page called Ban's Final Fantasy Corner. Look for it for info on Japanese meta, on Japanese goodies, decks in general. I often make decks and post them as well, so you can look there for ideas if you're kind of stuck.
Cool.
And I'm also available, like if you guys want to text me, message me if like any questions. Feel free to contact me anytime.
Yeah, he's super helpful. Like Pedro helped me out with some other things even before I started doing content. Yeah, he was super helpful. He's there from the start. So you guys should definitely check out his Facebook page.
Pillar of the
and go-
community is, I think, what we would.
I like to call like FFTCG Titan.
Oh yes. Well, you're an Earth player, so
Yeah.
Well, I'm an Earth
I
player.
would
we
call
could
him
just
a-
primal.
I would call him a Leviathan.
Okay. Anyways, thanks for joining us, guys. This has been the Water Set review, and do everyone want to say bye?
Yep, see ya.
See ya.
Goodbye, everyone.
Number 1 Potato Boss out.